This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
We mixed. We loaded it. We edited it.
Sometimes we get so deep into conversation that we have separate segments worthy of their own place in the sun.
Here is a reshuffled mini episode.
Like, if you look at some of these other filmmakers who are over reliant on homages, that's just it. Like, he's not in that same category. And same difference, like, people like to do the whole how many good movies that you made versus bad. I'm like, well, here's the thing. He kind of gets away with it because everyone knows he's good.
Yeah. He can make a terrible film and it's not like definitive of De Palma.
That's just it too. Like, and when I got to Domino, the final one on his resume, it just got to where I was like, well, I knew going in it wasn't going to be that great. He's already disowned it. He did it as a favor to people who were literally obsessed with his work. They're like, can one of the masters come in and make this, independent production? And
yeah,
it's just so funny though how he seems like he's still stuck in the 70s. And just society has just not been kind to him. It's been the usual, your last movie underperformed, you're getting less of a budget on this one, you're still taking too much time. And he's worked with so many great actors, but like you say, kind of with the Cliff Robertson, there are some of them where I'm like, I didn't think you were very good there. I think he relied on you to do the work, and he should have pushed you a little more, It just,
yeah.
But yeah, Blowout seems to be like the most agreeable one, and I cannot fathom how anyone could say that was a terrible movie back in the day. I'm like, I can understand some of his other divisive ones. I can't understand how that one, unless I guess maybe you were a Kennedy, didn't like the senator subplot. I don't see how anyone could say that is a terrible use. Like, I mean, the Foley is the sound in that with the soundscape.
Yeah.
And he clearly, it's funny you bring up slashers. He definitely was going to the theaters to see stuff like that. It's so funny. I didn't know until looking at the making of the Untouchables, he dreaded working with blood. And yet, I'm like, can you think of a bloodless De Palma? That's like his signature, much like Scorsese and Tarantino. And you're like, but it's also funny just all his different, just how he would rip pages out John Ford style, how he would do some other stuff that, much like the other film brats were doing, like Coppola and Bogdanovich. And you're like, wow, okay, interesting. You're not necessarily from a crime or horror or mystery background, but you're just basically you're a Hitchcock, but you're also just kind of you just love actors and settings, and that's enough for you. And it is so funny how he asked Spielberg for help on Scarface for the finale, and I just wish he could have gotten more collaborations, like kind of like how his buddies Coppola and Lucas would give each other grief, but help each other out when they needed help. If he was able to help George Lucas, with the opening of Star Wars, you kind of wish they could have helped each other out more instead of just, and that's it. I'm like,
yeah, there are times like both him and Coppola have a lot in common in that way, and that they could have used somebody in their ear, kind of like, okay, that's great, but slow down a little bit.
Right? No kidding. I mean, because like Lucas helped out Lawrence Kasdan, but was an uncredited producer because he was like, I don't want my kids to see it. I'm like, they don't have to see it. And yeah, it's like, but they could have literally just helped each other out. Like Lucas could have said, fine, my effects company is helping you out. Can you write a movie I can produce? It's just like I don't think it was ego. I really don't. I think
no,
this is just speculation. I am not by any way a factoid. It's just looking at all these documentaries. I kind of just was always like, instead of just being each other's biggest fan, they should have just, I don't know, just formed another production company together, I guess, just as a hustle. It's But the 80s and 90s.
Coppola tried, but Coppola tried with Zoetrope, and that was a debacle. And I think that put all of them off of trying to run their own thing.
It could have been a bit of that, yeah. I think, which Coppola, I'm the biggest. He's my favorite out of all these guys. I think Spielberg has the most agreeable one, but like he's probably the most diverse. And it's so funny. Coppola and Scorsese don't like The Sopranos. Get your head behind that for a minute. You're like, interesting. It's like it just shows you just because they make something doesn't mean they're fans of all that kinds of genre. Like,
Right.
He's just like, I just like it as a family film. I don't buy into the gangster stuff. It's like, oh, but Coppola, it's a gangster movie, you know. And I do kind of wonder if De Palma had gone out and done more gangster stuff, you know, what he could have done. Because I looked at Wise Guys and was so blown away how he handled comedy there. It was amazing. And
Considering, how his track record with comedy isn't great, but
yeah,
but he can be funny, and he finds unique things funny. He comes at things. His humor comes from such a unique angle, just kind of like the way his camera does.
I mean, and yeah, all those sweeping crane views, all those slow motion, and now everybody does it. But it's like, oh, dude, you don't get it. And it's interesting when you look at later William Friedkin and Sidney Lumet, they seem to kind of use similar shots like each other to where even Michael Mann, who's channeling who right now, because it's not just, you know,
The great thing about these directors is a lot of them feel like they're just big kids playing with toys. What can I do with this? I've got this thing and I can do this with it. And that's the kind of the passion that you pick up from De Palma or Coppola or Friedkin. It's like, I love playing with the tools of filmmaking.
Basically, I get a bit of that from some of the other 90s and 2000s guys like James Foley.
Mhm.
Oh, what's his name? Who worked on Tales from the Crypt and then became a go-to thriller guy. Things to Do in Denver. Gary Fletter, he's another one. Joe Carnahan is kind of channeling.
Oh yeah, love
He's
Carnahan.
using, yeah, he's great. He's basically doing Walter Hill plots with Tarantino dialogue and cross cuts, and on a Soderbergh level is like, and then you see all these other screenwriters. I am kind of angry at how after Femme Fatale, like De Palma just didn't have any final cut say on many of his projects, and you're like, geez, and
Yeah.
Femme,
I mean, Femme Fatale it's such a terrible film.
oh no, fair enough.
It doesn't help him, but I mean, he's still Brian De Palma. I mean, there is still a lot of his talent on display. But when you're getting in there and fucking with him and keep taking away his final cut and like you're sticking him with a star that he can't really work with. I mean, she's not an actress. She's a wonderful human being, I'm sure, Rebecca Romaine, but
you didn't
not
like
an
her
actress.
You didn't like her on Star Trek.
No, I've never seen her on Star Trek.
Okay, yeah, she's been more famous.
X-Men
TV.
is what I know her from. I think.
Okay, yeah, she's been in. I thought she was okay in Punisher in the Librarian show, but I now don't get me wrong. Femme Fatale, I've had a complicated relationship. I would always see parts of it for the naughty shit, and I didn't think it was a really good movie. It just was blurring that line between late night Skinamax, which was often the channel was on, as well as Usual Suspects type heist film. I did re-see it in recent years, and I do kind of like the final what if plot twist, but
I think
bullshit in between
early on
is what
in that movie. I mean, the scene with the diamond bikini is incredible, and it sets you up for something so amazingly like what De Palma does, and then after that, it's just straight into the toilet.
No, fair enough. I think that's just it. It's Roger Ebert really liked it for the final plot twist, but at the same time, if I think about the plot twist more, I'm like, what was it really all about? So it is blurring that line between like post pretentious like Nolan and Usual Suspects type knockoffs and trying to be a Memento type heist movie. I don't know. It might have been better in the 90s in all honesty.
Or even the 80s, and right in there between Blow Up and Body Double. I think it would have been he probably could have made it the way you wanted it to.
I think Banderas is good, but at the same time, going against who he casts is like you kind of expect, Mr. Smooth talking Banderas, and it's like, no, he he's a sleazy photographer. You know?
How is anybody supposed to play off of what she's doing? She's just not giving anything back to the screen. There's nothing there.
Yeah, I think that's just it. He gets along with his actors, but then he doesn't use them the right way, or
Yeah.
he gives them bizarre stuff that they can't do. So then I don't know. I think he is so in love with the craft, he just takes his sweet time. But yeah, I have seen so many people talk shit about movies, and then when you bring up De Palma, it takes him a while to admit what are his high points, what are his low points. Have you done that with any other filmmakers where it's like, come on, guys, call a spade a spade? Spielberg will tell you The Lost World Jurassic Park sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyone else would be like, no, it's great. No, it's really not, Steven. You know, it's like, why can they not be critical? I mean, De Palma did a good job with the Untouchables because he really hated the show. Like, he saw it as like, why did my grandparents watch this? This sucks.
Right.
So static, good actor, and nothing to make it interesting. I know what I won't do. You know, I won't bore people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are times where how he organizes crime stuff. I mean, he and Michael Cimino, there's another loser who had some talent. Used Coppola's cinematographer, the Vilmos guy, and some of those other
Vilmos
Polish.
Sigmund, yeah.
And it's so funny how it's like they're using similar shots with how they show like a circle of guys in suits and snipers and other crane shots. But yeah, De Palma is just interesting in that I never, even when I made the reference, oh, that's a reference to Notorious or that other Coppola or Hitchcock film, I never got the gist of, yeah, he totally stole. It's like, well, he did a cover song and he did it out of love. I don't
Right.
that.
Well, I mean, and when anybody talks about Body Double, they'll talk about Rear Window because there's a telescope, and it's like,
yeah,
I get it, I understand where you're coming from, and yes, he is definitely carrying forward influence from Hitchcock. It meant a lot to him, but I think when you look at how seedy and dark and weird Body Double is, Hitchcock could never do that. He was for as
demented
weird
as he was, yeah.
he was a straightforward guy. His filmmaking is very straightforward and could be consumed very easily. De Palma, you cannot consume easily. You are going to be offended, or you're going to be terrified. Something's going to happen that's going to make you walk out of there thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I saw that. Like the murder of Anne Margaret in Dressed to Kill is just so stunning. And yes, it is an homage to Psycho, but I guarantee you De Palma could make Psycho. Hitchcock can't make Dressed to Kill.
No,
he never would.
Definitely not. Yeah. Oh, this is just so funny though. How I look at David Fincher, he's so dark. You got to be ready to see his bleak stuff. Denis Villeaneuve is kind of a mixture of all these guys while making it for a Nolan audience and using Kubrick shots. It's so wild how I still don't know where De Palma. I know he's just a lover of suspense, making modern day suspense, and it's kind of just comes down to the plot and whether the actors are well cast or not. But I just find it funny too how then you have other movies that come out around that same time that he's mistaken for making, but is like Curtis Hanson, pre LA Confidential.
Right.
Post Roger Corman type guy, is making stuff like The Bedroom Window and Bad Influence, and you're like, oh, that's not a De Palma movie, but I could understand if you mistook that for one, because similar love of just the camera sneaking up, and there's the dark lighting is just as much a character. But yeah, it is so funny how I'm really surprised that De Palma didn't start off doing, forced sequels to bad movies or trashy grindhouse stuff, because he was watching a lot of that stuff, but then he's parodying.
There's a clear love for that. I mean, you can see it in Blowout in the opening scene.
Travolta goes, "This is shit."
Well, like you're trying to be like you're this amazing director and you know how to direct a movie really well, and you're bringing yourself down to the level of making this slasher movie and trying to make it like a slasher movie director. Like that can't have been an easy thing. He's got to look at horror movies and go, I could do this with that, but this is a bad movie, so I have to make it look bad.
So maybe that answers your question. Why was he picking a lot of these models or borderline softcore hunks? It's like he was probably watching too much of that and saying, let me use you well. It's like, no, Brian, he or she's not ready to go there just yet. De Palma's crime conspiracy films Just so many. Unfortunately, when I say conspiracy, everyone thinks, yeah, just crazy stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not talking about bogus stuff that's you can't believe or implausible crap, aliens or any of that. No, none of that jazz. when De Palma does a conspiracy, he is very much like Hitchcock. Just have the hero. He's just a simple everyday man, and somehow he has to find a way to stop a killer or a spy or some other evildoer. And he places them in an impossible situation where it's impossible for them to get any helpers because they just look like there's someone losing their mind, as an assassination or something is about to go down. And that is the best kind because everyone can relate to that. We've all been in scenarios where, no, honest, I'm wrong place, wrong time. You don't believe me. Now, obviously, I don't think any of us have been in violent encounters, but that's a whole other story. But he's got the emotional trust of the audience on the side. And De Palma is really good at a lot of these movies because not only is he more comfortable in that lane, but he really adds even more trickeries. And unfortunately, I feel like people who I used to like but do not like anymore, like Christopher Nolan, have just tried to be like De Palma. It's like, no. See, De Palma still had his own vision underneath. Hey, let me sneak in the crane shot that, Hitchcock did in this, earlier thriller. But it's like you got to still have your own juice, your own voice, your own style. Don't just do another variation. You're like that one Nine Inch Nails song. I'm a copy of a copy of a copy. Don't do that, please. So let's start off with 1978's The Fury.
Oh God, I remember that. Let me see that.
It's so sad. It is absolutely so sad. It's kind of another variation on Carrie in a way. Kinda.
Yeah,
Not really.
remember
But
that.
it's so funny. Andrew Stevens was reading as Luke Skywalker
Yep.
in the room, and he downplays it. I have heard a recent interview with the man. He actually, that's not quite the real truth. I'm like, dude, take the credit. Maybe you didn't exactly audition for Star Wars, but that's just it. George Lucas and De Palma would have sessions together and they would have read each other's lines. It's like, still, you read as Luke for one session, dude. I know you were going for another movie, but that's a win. But he's really good here. He's really emotional, which is very surprising because for the rest of his B movie career, he doesn't really go here. He's often just the hunk or the bad guy. And here he's being, I don't have control of my powers, father. And
I keep thinking it reminds me of that one with Charles Durning.
Is it that one movie from 1980? I think I know what you're talking about. Not Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. There's some other supernatural movie he's in, I think, is what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
I think I know. It's not When a Stranger Calls, but
No, but it was something where it had to do with psychic and stuff like that.
Okay. We are gonna find out this movie. Well, he stars in there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he is the psychic. Okay. Yeah. Yes, that's right. He's the.
This was with Charles Durning. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So, but in all fairness, then the movie becomes another. Again, they enter upon a secret government agency. It does kind of remind me, kind of a better version of Firestarter, as well as kind of some of those other just. Oh, what's the one George C. Scott movie where he wants revenge on somebody who's poisoning the population?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think it's Rage, I think is the name of it.
Yeah.
It's that kind of movie, that kind of angst, but it states it does it without being a rant. I think it ends anticlimactically, but it is worth a watch. And it's so funny. Every time I've seen it on regular TV, they absolutely can't edit any of the violence. They can edit the language. It's impossible.
It has to stay in there.
And so what will constantly fuel my most bizarre nightmares is that scene where just someone is shot supernaturally in slow motion. And yeah, Kirk Douglas is really on fire. He's really looking forward to talking with it. And you feel like De Palma just leaves everyone alone. He's like, I'm not going to tell you how to act. You know how to act, and you're great actors. I don't have to worry. I'm just going to worry about the premise.
And you got to think that comes right after he's done a movie called Home Movies, which is kind of a comedy that he had done with Kirk Douglas playing like a
Mm.
Brian De Palma character. Um, and encourages this guy,
Oh my
Keith
God, that's
Gordon.
actually a year later. But they probably
Yeah,
filmed it at the same time. I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, I wouldn't put it past you if they did.
Keith Gordon's really good in that.
Yeah, and the thing, I mean, he made this, and then he makes Blowout,
Yes, that's a good
which
transition.
is, I think, a spectacular movie to watch. I mean, Travolta.
I'll go further. I think it's one of the best 80s movies.
Yeah,
Because it's
I think when you come down to it, with the '80s, that movie was unbelievable
and
because
it's better than Body Double, I think, because it really does grab you buy into it more. And even though the political scandal is so Ted Kennedy inspired, it's kind of like a Law and Order episode. They rewrite it enough to where it's its own thing, even though it's clearly inspired by more recent events. And Travolta has your instant trust because he's a producer who doesn't really like his job all that much. He's like, this is
yeah,
such bullshit. The girl takes her top off and gets murdered. Such bullshit. Why
and
would anyone want to watch
the
this?
thing I love about that movie is Travolta basically going from Saturday Night Fever, Grease,
Yeah,
the one he made with Lily Tomlin.
there's the less
He
about that
does
one. Yeah.
he does Urban Cowboy. Okay, that's great. He does this. It's like he's working with De Palma. It's like saying, "Oh shit, this is heavy shit he's getting into." And he plays this guy as such a believable guy. Saying, he keeps playing. I remember there's one scene he keeps playing the tape back, and he's like, I can hear it, but I can't hear it. It
Yes.
just keeps going through his head.
The Foley and sound editing is the real star, but
Yeah.
the second star, other than Travolta and Nancy Allen, would probably be Vilmos Zsigmond's cinematography. Better known for
Mm-hmm.
helping Scorsese, Coppola, and Michael Cimino. But like John Lithgow, he's definitely my personal favorite of his De Palma collaborations. He's just a ruthless hitman. He's like, I will make her disappear. She knows too much.
Yep.
This actress, and even though it's a sad ending, it gives you a half win. It's like, okay, now Jack is going to be a fugitive on the run, but he kills the hitman, and he's going to expose this conspiracy. And again,
Mm-hmm.
it just shows you kind of an unusual underbelly, and De Palma mixes in some adventure and pulp elements with it. I feel like he's out of his comfort zone, and in a good way. Like he just starts off with these slow basic thrillers, and now he's like, hey, now I'm going to do even more of the behind the scenes movie stuff, but now
And
what if the sound technician was the hero?
and that's the thing. Like when he did this, I think it was 16 years earlier. We had Blow Up by
Yes,
Michelangelo Antonioni, and
it's
that
totally an
is like,
Anton Looney tribute. It's totally a
and
tribute to that.
it's like the whole thing plays in your head. Did we hear it or didn't we hear it? Like with the picture in Blow
If a
Up, it's like,
tree falls in the woods, did we really
do we see the knife or do we not? Did we see the body or didn't we see the body?
I
And
wonder
that's
why he's more comfortable here versus some of these other movies. If he just had better sound technicians, gaffers, or what, or just felt like I could experiment better. But I don't understand how this one just was a flop in its day. You would have thought it would have been a big drive-in outing. I just don't get
um
it. Like I've even
I'm
seen people who, unfortunately, when you look up film history books, you will see a lot of hot takes about De Palma, and you're like, are you trying to rewrite history right now? Because I have never seen any critic generally hate this movie. I'm sure some did back then who already didn't care for him, but this is like his most agreeable movie. Why would you hate this one out of all of them? I just do not get it.
but
Yeah,
you know
I don't
I
get
think
it. I don't get
I
it.
I don't get how people could treat it like this. I mean, it's a great movie. It's a great fucking movie to watch.
It's original and it delivers on the concept as opposed to, yeah, but you just took a scene out of this and that. It's like, no, It's not getting cute for its own good. And uh, I don't know if you've seen Femme Fatale.
No.
Okay, so the trailers for that one sucked, but I actually do recommend it because he does some similar kind of unusual kind of mixing in different elements in that one. But yeah, Blowout is easily probably his most agreeable 80s movie. But yes, for this podcast, I saw Wise Guys, and I don't know why this is never replayed on anywhere. I don't see this
Oh,
on Prime. I don't
Wise
see it on-
Guys?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's a great
Why is it
fucking
so
movie.
obscure? Why is it so
I
obscure?
look. I mean, there's so many great. My favorite is no, thank you, Mr. Acavando. You know, we were in a restaurant one time. My buddy goes, "Hey, no, thank you, Mr. Acavando." You know,
Yes.
it's
It's very
it's his,
clever. It's actually gentle compared to most of his movies, but he
I
still puts in some fun plot twists like that. And you can, it was a relatable concept. Two smart asses who also happen to be, salesmen, get caught up in crime stuff. You could easily do a double feature if you wanted to with the Pope of Greenwick Village or even Ruthless People with this movie, and it would be
yeah.
amazing because it's the comedy. Surprisingly, De Palma is really digging the comedy. He
He,
trusts Danny DeVito, fresh off Taxi, to do this. He loves Joe Piscopo. Is say what you want about him later on. He's really comfortable here compared to most of his
yeah.
movie
Well,
roles where he's just I'm Joe
and then
Piscopo.
you've got Dan Hedaya playing the mob boss, and you got Captain Lou
He
Albano.
remember when they're I
Lou
won't
Albano.
I won't spoil the last two twists because I really don't want to be that guy. But the first plot twist fakes you out perfectly. The second
Yeah.
one, Dan Hedaya has a hysterical line as they're about to go in there, like attempting to kill him. He's like, just another. I forget what he says. It's something like just another Tuesday. Like,
Yeah. But the thing I love about that is Lou Albano playing the Frankie the Fixer,
yes,
because he steals the movie out from everybody. You know, when he says, give me the when the card is like fucking being like the card he has been like ripped off. He basically they've gone
it's
past the
a
limit.
it's a simple crime comedy, but yeah. Also, what's his name?
I keep thinking Keitel is in it, right?
Yeah, and he is amazing as the casino owner because he's kind of much like Gus in Breaking Bad. He's the normal guy. He's like, hey, it's all good. We're gonna figure this out, right? It's just like he isn't blunt. He wants what's good for his business, but he also wants no one to make any trouble. And I love what's his name? I think they call him the Shark or something. The hysterical insult comedian who's also one of the hitmen.
Oh, not
He
Rickles. No.
yeah, I wish it was Don Rickles. But yeah, Patty LuPone, Miss Broadway herself has a brief role in here, and Frank Vincent, Phil Leotardo is one of the other hitman. He only has like one or two lines, but it's cool seeing a pre-Scorsese role. But yeah, even Charles Scorsese and Catherine, Marty's parents, are some of the birthday guests who make cameos
Oh
here.
yeah, I love that how they just put
We're all families, but it's not
yeah.
intrusive. If you did it nowadays, oh, we got to have whoever's a reality show star. I'm like, no, you got to have someone who people are friends with. Put friends in your movies. Don't just put random assholes who can't act in your movie. But yeah, the insult comedian, he's been in a few other things. He has an interesting IMDb page, but I just love how he's 1 minute he's like, no, fuck you, and he's hey, I'm just kidding. And then he starts using his actual insults when he's trying to kill Danny DeVito at the end. He's like, now I mean it.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love when Piscopo comes in. He thinks DeVito's the ghost. He's like, did he throw himself on the coffin? Yeah, yeah. I told him to do that during the funeral. I'm like, what?
Yeah, but it's very relatable. It's not just New York type humor. It's very much, it would appeal to a Beverly Hills Cop type crowd who wants a crime comedy. Like it is
Yeah,
but that fake out is really awesome. Like it in a lesser film. I'm really surprised at how they handle both what you think is a tragic moment and then it's a fake out. Like De Palma does it in a way where you're like, it still serves the comedy and it's just the two leads do have good chemistry, which is very weird.
Yeah.
A sitcom star turned dramatic actor with a sketch guy, and somehow they're able to make it work off each other. But I guess there wasn't any issues. There's like, we're getting equal screen time. Let's make the most of it. But yeah, I mean, I like your earlier point. I do like how the bad guys have the upper hand because they make them start disrespecting and distrusting each other. It's like, oh, I get word you're trying to kill me. Why's that, buddy? Who told you that? Why would I? No, you're my partner in crime.
Yeah.
What the hell, dude? I've known you for 5 years. Why would I? You're basically my godfather to my son. Why would I? Why would I do you dirty like
Well, that's
that?
what it is in the mafia. You know,
Trust.
you got your hand on somebody's, you got your hand out shaking somebody, but that knife is in the back before you know it. You know.
Hmm. Well, and that's just it too. Like, people who aren't into gangster movies would like this movie. That's how in depth and engaging it is. It's not, but it is wild how he gets still works in his little fake out tricks that he generally does in his mystery movies.
Mhm.
I
He does the thing where it's called I think I like to call it the curveball. You know, the curveball theory.
yes. Hmm.
You think it happened, but no, this is what happened.
Nope.
You know.
It did not happen that way. We thought we did,
Mm.
but we only saw a quarter of the scene. So I was thinking of doing this during a David Mamet tribute, but then I remembered David Mamet, talented guy, but he's also a bit of a fascist. So let's
He's
just,
an asshole.
yeah, so let's just honor the guy who brought the movie to life, and that is the Untouchables.
Oh God, yeah. I think his.
Maybe his
I
third or
think
fourth
I
most.
think that's I think that's first off, it's a great way to honor that show, The Untouchables.
Did you ever read the trivia where De Palma actually forced himself to watch the show, and he
Yeah.
he found it so boring? Yeah,
Well,
but
if you ever watch the show, it's like Jesus Christ, like Robert Stack's going, Lee, Rico, Youngblood, you have to find Frank Nitti. You know, and the
right,
whole thing is like, it's like they're chasing, I remember watching it as a kid going like, this is the show? What made
yeah.
this show so fucking good? So
And so,
De Palma
yeah,
took the idea of the TV show.
right.
I said, I'm going to expand it. It's like Nicholas Meyer not seeing Star Trek,
Bingo. He's
and he
like,
had to sat down.
I don't want to do a space opera. I want to do submarines in space. You
Yeah,
go.
and I think the
And
thing was with this was he wanted to make it where he was gonna, how I'm trying to put this
I
correctly.
mean,
So
I already wanted to see it growing up. I'm like, yeah, it's a cops and robbers movie. It's very comic book esque in that, yeah, like we distort the facts, but we get the general gist and show how these guys were badasses taking
yeah.
on Elliot
Well, the
Ness's
thing I love is he's
bootleg.
got the four guys.
Andy
He's got
Garcia is amazing at
yeah.
that opening scene where he's at the shooting range. You're like, we need somebody. We're told you're good, and
You're a goddamn whoop.
yeah. And Sean Connery totally deserved the Oscar. You
Oh
feel
yeah,
before the
yeah.
tragic end, but like, I love how others that have noted. I don't think he would actually. That what's so funny enough, they're like his accent slips out once in a while, but they say technically the guy he's playing in real life actually did have some Scottish ancestry, so
Yeah.
technically it is good casting.
But the way they get Capone
Yes,
was the way they really got him on tax evasion.
correct. It's the typical real life. We're still seeing it today with the inept feds before they're got compromised right now. Whereas, like, if you, we know they did something, but they made all the witnesses disappear literally by bombing them or killing
Yeah.
them, and so we're going to get them on something else. And what can we easily make them pay a fee and do jail time for? Tax evasion. But I love also just again just Mamet's script crackles. The actors are comfortable with it. You feel so sad for Charles Martin Smith. He doesn't make it to the end of the movie, but it's also a rare mainstream performance for B movie actor Billy Drago as Hitman Frank Nitti.
Oh God,
Frank Nitti,
Jesus,
and
Frank.
that.
Oh God, he's
So
psychotic in that movie. How did they kill Charles Martin Smith?
remember the crooked cops? It's off screen, but you we're told after the fact. Yeah, these crooked cops let Frank or one of the other hitman in, and he, capped him in the elevator.
Oh shit, yeah.
And you're just so sad. But De Palma, again, a lesser filmmaker would have just not characterized any of these guys or not used Mammoth's script to the best of its potential. Is like, yeah, we see Elliot Ness's first role. The women aren't and kids aren't moving targets. He's like, get them out of here now.
Yeah,
leave
and
town.
the scene on the steps.
And good news. So, what's his name? Who did that? He's amazing. He was the guy who also did the bus jump in Speed. But
Not Jan de, no,
not Jan de Bont, but like he is a stunt coordinator. He's still working today, and Gary Himes, yeah, he worked on Broken Arrow for John Woo, and he became a go-to second unit guy, and he storyboarded that. He's like, here's how we're going to shoot this. Here's how we're going to have this, stuntman playing the hitman go down. Here's how Costner's going to pick up the shotgun here, blast this guy here, and then he's going to, pick up the baby carriage with the baby and, unharmed, and he's beloved by producers because he would always storyboard this stuff, make sure everybody's, safety is not compromised. He was also a stunt coordinator in the first 2 Jurassic Parks, and
yeah,
as well as even worked on ER. So he was all about safety first. I love movies as much as you guys. I don't just do, the safety stuff. I want to make this look good on camera. So we're going to do this. You have my trust, but I trust you now because you clearly looked at the storyboarding that you get to take credit for, and I'm going to shoot it that way. It's just in link with your vision, but it isn't without fail. Every time I watch the scene, my jaw is on the floor. I'm like, how are they going to get out of this? There's guns on every side, he has to save the kid and the mom.
Well, the thing is that scene with the baby carriage coming down.
Yeah,
that's from Battleship Potemkin.
Yeah. He studied some classic cinema for that, and it is so funny. De Palma, when we think of him much like with Tarantino and Scorsese. He's so good at bloodletting. He really was worried this one because he had some flops. He's like, I can't screw this up. It ends up being both a critical and box office darling, but he was really afraid. He's like, we can only shoot a lot of these, bloody squibs a few times, and we got to get it right. I don't want the actor to be in pain. I also don't want to have to reshoot this because, it's a lot of time and money. So he did a lot of shortcuts. He did a lot of, he found some cheaper stuff they could use to make it still look good. I mean, but both the good guy and the bad guy have a good entrance, which most movies lack nowadays. Now they just jump into, hey, it's so-and-so, and they're battling so-and-so on screen. And so it's so funny looking at this in a pre-Heat world. It's like, I'm Elliot Ness. I am, going to run for district attorney. I want my bad guys, and I want them now. And De Niro is like, hey, and by the way, so-and-so, you're late on your payment. Whack,
Well, that's the thing I love. That's the thing I love about his Capone. Capone actually straightened out people like that.
Yeah,
he didn't give a shit who you were.
And that's just it. Like Costner, Ness, I didn't care for his performance when I first saw it, but he's actually really good in it. Like he's just very comfortable, and he, was just so happy to do just an everyday kind of good man who found the most unusual allies as part of his unofficial vice squad. And it's so funny. I think Charles Martin Smith's agent Wallace has a funny scene where it's like they're at a shootout and some of the alcohol is leaking into his mouth. He's like, oh, this is good stuff. No wonder they bootleg it. But De Niro, they do a good job of just showing he answers to himself. He has his own goons. They're all hidden in the shadows. He just gets rid of all the other gangsters who are about to testify against him. And because he never found any true friends, he will always be in the shadows, lurking around like a cockroach. And again, I'm okay with it kind of like American Gangster, kind of Hollywoodizing it a bit, because it takes a comic book kind of approach where they have kind of like every Wyatt Earp adaptation or Robin Hood type movie. It's like, okay, we're taking, no, they never met in real life, in person like that, but it works for the movie. It is built up that way. They deliberately exaggerate it from the beginning, so that's okay. It's still got the overall meat and potatoes of what events transpired, as opposed to, this isn't like a movie like is mostly accurate and then inserts something that totally didn't happen. Like, it's not like Argo, where I'm like, I like it up until that ending is like, they never got in any fights at the airport when taking off. But before that, I liked it. But yeah, I think this would be about his third or fourth most agreeable movie, along with Carrie and Blowout, just because it's a crowd pleaser. And De Palma, even though it wasn't his first, I want to do this, he made it his own. Is like, okay, I can do something with this and make it more than just cops and robbers. And when you look at the troubled production, man, it really is. It almost did not get made just because they couldn't agree on a budget at first and who was going to star.
They were trying to look for a leading man. They didn't know who it was going to be,
Everyone else was either unavailable or overused at the time.
Yeah.
And we're having that now. Now we're seeing movies, and I share this with you, my dude, where I'm like, why don't they reverse those roles? Or why not they just have him, do this, character instead? It's like that, or this, I like that actor, but I don't think they can go there as a performance. It's just, they do too much of what your name means this much value in this country now versus you're right for the part. Let's take a chance and make some budget cuts here to make it work. But they don't have great line producers, and they really do. They need more who can do that. And instead they just are like, well, you came in budget last time, let's just give it to you, even though you don't even want to do this movie.
Yep.
It's not a good idea. So I'll jump to another crime movie that I had mixed feelings about growing up. It was always on TBS. And that there's still some problems in it, but you can at least enjoy the performances. That is Snake Eyes.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, so this was one where De Palma got it taken away from him. That's all I'll say. I like Gary Sinise's villain. The problem is the whole thing is very uneven. And it was one of those, I would morbidly just catch part of it on like FX or TBS, like first thing in the morning, and be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I can remember watching a TNT
He's
one
trying
time.
to make a Manchurian Candidate kind of movie or Black Sunday kind of movie. It's one location, one guy who knows everything. He's not likable, but he redeems himself by stopping the least likely person to be the bad guy. And they unfortunately cut out a lot of character development, so half the plot twists don't make sense. But yeah, I hated it growing up. I can watch some of it now, but there's still some bullshit in it. It is, however, not as bad as Mission to Mars, which I will just skip over for you.
Yeah, let's skip over that.
Did you see, to finish these two out, just kind of keeping in with the conspiracy, Redacted?
No.
So long story short, be glad you didn't.
Okay.
So because, to go back to what is a good movie that I know you want to talk about, he was trying to capture the whale, the brilliant whale that he did so well in Casualties of War.
Yeah.
And he fucked it up. He hired unknowns who weren't good actors. He used that overused found footage style. It was covering supposedly real life true crime events at people being murdered at a, army base in the Middle East. And it was just so agonizing. It was like, no. This can't be De Palma. Well, he's credited with it. He made it. He did it on a limited budget. And it's unbearable. Like, it came out in 2007. I would see parts of it on like HD net or something. I'd be like, oh, no. This can't be it. This was kind of always like, I did the same thing I do when I see a beloved actor making a piece of shit. I'm like, no. This can't be real. Nope. Yep. Sure enough.
You're gonna need the money.
You're gonna need the money. And I think he meant well, but he just, it dragged. It was unengaging. It was unorganized. And the actors, I hope they never act again. They were so bad. Like it was like amateur theater night in the park, and just that De Palma trying to use the overused digital camera tricks that were becoming a thing, and it's like just don't do that. But Casualties of War, I cannot believe that was hated at the time. He told the story, he gave everybody meaty roles, and it was blasted at the time. I had no idea. Other than Roger Ebert, pretty much everybody was like, "What a piece of shit."
There's that one little golden nugget in the stream of shit, you know.
I thought it was a good movie. It's just interesting seeing Ving Rhames as the base commander, and again, Sean Penn challenging himself as a war criminal. Like any good war movie is like, yeah, you're gonna kill for me. They're apes, they're animals, they're not real people. I'm gonna kill them. And let's have Michael J. Fox stretch himself dramatically.
Oh Christ.
It's interesting because it's kind of like later war movies that mix in mystery elements, kind of like what's the one? Kind of like Courage Under Fire is like, now let's do a Rashomon where that's not exactly how it happened. Here's how it happened from this person's viewpoint, you know. And it was commonly on AMC networks, and I would watch it and be like, and you know, this starts one of many collaborations he does with John Leguizamo. But Don Harvey, who was one of the other guys, he's always plays a good guy now, but I'm always like, I will always know him as the bad guy in this and one of the other guys in Die Hard too. Like he always had that punchable face.
I know you, yeah.
But like you say, it's not a pleasant movie because it is dealing with a war crime, but I thought it was well done. So you were not a fan?
Wow. No.
Okay, no, that's interesting. So I've never heard anyone hate it, but it was just too much.
So yeah, that.
Well, and to your other points on the actor critiques, I do feel like he's better at understanding story than George Lucas. Kind of like Lucas.
Oh yeah.
My only
Lucas doesn't like humans.
Lucas, unfortunately, has been cited as movies that are all like in the 30s. It's like, George, those are great movies you mentioned, but what do they all have in common? They don't have the perfect dialogue. They have kind of cheesy, formulaic comic book type dialogue. And unfortunately, when you hear how the Fury and Star Wars were both being cast in the same room, I do unfortunately think that Brian, much like George, he likes kind of eye candy, so he hires people who he think look good versus they're right for the role. He goes with his gut as opposed to logic. And so, yes, even in his good movies, I will see some overacting, whether it's by Travolta or Kirk Douglas, and then you'll get some good parts. But unfortunately, I think that also goes into some of the other actors or actresses who didn't do so well in the other stuff, where he just kind of lets them go instead of rehearses more or tells him what he wants, and how to get there.
I think that hangs Snake Eyes, like for instance, or Raising Cain. Snake Eyes and Raising Cain are both movies where the actor is given so much room to do what they want to do that perhaps it's not quite, it needs to be reined in a little bit. Somebody needs to say, okay, slow down. You're doing great. But
you're too in our face. We're going to have a blaring soundtrack in the scene. That's too much, And at the same time, I can't even imagine when this is like pre-viewfinder, digital playback. It's like he's getting some stuff that he's seeing in the moment, but yeah, he's still a revolutionary guy, but I just cannot believe that some people at the time were like, he has absolutely no talent. I'm like, whoa, hey.
Those are the prudes. Those are the prudes who saw Dressed to Kill and got offended and walked out after Anne Margaret's murder. Like they didn't stay to see. Are they're the people who don't like body doubles because of the nudity or stuff like that. A lot of prudish people are going to get put off very quickly by stuff like that. And Dressed to Kill is a great example. I mean, it's a weird thing. I was just doing a piece on Dressed to Kill, the backlash, and in one newspaper, you've got a feminist debating a porno guy, like one of the more famous 80s porno guys. His name escapes me now, but they're doing a literal newspaper debate going back and forth about Dressed to Kill and how exploitative it is. And the feminist obviously is saying it's exploitative and he's calling it art. And they're both kind of wrong.
Yeah.
You don't want to be on either side of this for some reason.
It's just like
De Palma's almost just caught in the middle of this weird argument.
I mean, it's how we are with politics. No one likes to do an in-between point. It's like, this isn't
Right.
about picking a team. This is about
Yeah.
debating right and wrong, and the gray is like, oh my word. And yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest Dress to Kill fan, but I still respect it. I just say it's not for me, but I would never call it the worst piece of shit of all time. Like, what? No. Well, it has to be literally amateur hour. Like, just
Yeah.
can't hear the sound. There's inconsistencies in the tone. There's material that seems better 5 different movies all stitched together. It's got to be very hackneyed for me to just go total garbage, doesn't make sense.
Right.
You know,
Well,
why did you make
everything,
this?
every movie De Palma made, even the bad ones, even the ones that I think are truly terrible, I think there are these moments where you can see what it was that brought him to it and the decisions that he makes, and he's always got something spectacular to show you. Like I'm not a fan of Scarface, but I do feel like the end scene is pretty goddamn spectacular from a filmmaking perspective. It is it's quite amazing.
Oh, that's a
Same
good
with
point.
Femme Fatale's got that one scene that's just really good, and Snake Eyes, one scene that's really good, and then everything else.
Yes, it's just like so many different worlds all blended into one, and I just don't know. Just digging to the middle of it, I don't know how much of it is, like you say, the prudes of the audience. How
Mhm.
much it is him saying, I've done and fucked it up." You know, I don't know how much of it is the studio head saying, "Take one extra frame out, you're going to get an X rating. You know, you're
Yeah.
going to for too much gore or one extra boob." It's just like I don't know how much of it is the different fights he had versus, and I can't find anything on whether or not he was on any drugs. I don't think he was, but if he did, he probably stiffed something here and there just to calm down.
Him and Lucas kind of came off as the sort of choir voice of the group, and Spielberg, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
Spielberg, I never heard about drugs, but I guarantee you he did a Cuban cigar now and again
yeah,
with
I
John
think
Milius, you know,
I
and
think those guys just loved looking at cameras and talking about shots, compositions.
that's what's so weird.
Compositions.
That's probably why they're still alive, you know.
Yeah.
Lucas had fucking diabetes, for God's sakes, and Scorsese was the one who was on coke all the time, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
finally Cattell and De Niro had to say, "No, man, come with us. We're gonna detox you."
Yeah.
It's so weird. And but even Scorsese, yeah, is another kind of guy. You would have thought he'd be dead. I got so pissed off when I saw Tarantino saying, and Tarantino's right for that. He loves loaded conversations, but I was just like, why would you want to wish that he wanted to kill the MPA guys who almost raided Taxi Driver X? Come on, dude. If he said that, he was probably making an off-color joke that you shouldn't have heard. You know, it's like, why would you want that to be true, though? It's just like, it's like De Palma is like, I'm sure he was just like dedication to him, because I never heard anything where he could have easily been on the record saying, "I wanted to quit." And it's
Yeah.
just like he kind of just stays with the course and then gets so mad that the iceberg crash wasn't even spectacular. He kind of he just stays on the trolley car, but is so mad when no one has any footage to work with. You know,
Yeah.
but he keeps up with it. It's like he's not going to risk being difficult or having his name on a movie he didn't work on. And so I think that's just it too. He has dignity, but
Yeah.
sometimes he doesn't have enough tablets for that dishwasher he's creating. You know, it's just,
He's a genius, and the best directors are going to make movies that you don't like. Sometimes that's just the way it
absolutely.
is.
We were
The-
joking
the
about this with Joel Schumacher and Oliver
Yeah.
Stone. They've done some big, just muddled stuff, and you're like, that should work. I don't know what takes you use that doesn't ring true at all. And but they
But
have
the key-
similar dark
yeah.
lighting sometimes, where I'm like,
Right.
I feel like that's a De Palma shot. Did you use his cinematographer or assistant gaffer? What did you use?
Yeah.
I,
If you see a great director take a big swing at something and fail, and what we don't see today so often are filmmakers who are allowed the opportunity to take a big swing and fail, because everything has to be cut to be as polished as possible and down the middle to reach as wide an audience as possible. I
oh
mean,
yeah. De Palma
it's hard. It's got to be impossible to be a director in this day and age and try and say something unique or interesting.
Well, he
Makes me think of
definitely
Abel Ferrara.
he's a bit
Who's
of Abel, except minus the telling everyone, off-color stuff that normal people would find offensive, and is like,
right.
you have to rein him in. Because he's a real streetwise New York guy, and
Boy, he's making the worst movies of his career right now, but he's doing it in a way that no one can tell him not to, and I appreciate that.
that's true. I didn't think of that. I can't even remember the last one I saw, but I do like Abel. But yeah, when it's bad, you're just like, I'm just
The
moving
last
on.
two have just been almost unwatchable, but it is all his vision entirely. There is no one telling him what to do, and I do appreciate that he gives himself room to do the thing he wants and do it as terrible as he's done it.
Yeah, if I had to do a comparison, he is Abel Ferrara, but without being outspoken. He is Walter Hill, but unlike Walter, who does neo westerns, Brian will sign up for a western without knowing how to ride a horse, something like that. Like and he's definitely not to the level where he wants to play games like all these other guys coming up with. Like, he's not M. Night Shyamalan, where he's just gonna
Yeah.
try and do one too many plot twists, but he also wasn't like Bryan Singer, where everything I do is great. I'm gonna leave for everyone else to do my job for me while I go get wasted in the restroom. It's like, what? No, So I've never heard of him being late to set. I've never heard of him being, anal to everybody, but he just always seems like he's just uncomfortable in every uh still shot you see of him in a director's chair, like, oh shit, but he's mumbling it to himself. He's not saying it out loud.
He's a genius, and it can be hard sometimes for the truly genius to try and pull the sentences together to describe what it is that they see in their head. And that's always been the biggest issue with De Palma, is trying to get other people to understand the thing that's in his head. Pino Donaggio is capable of doing it on the music side. Zygmunt is
Yes.
able to do it with the visuals, but I don't think the actors, in many cases, and when he's had bad performances, I don't think the actors are quite getting what his vision is for them. They don't quite know. He doesn't quite know how to use them as a tool, and they don't quite know what he wants from them. And that, like,
And he's afraid
Robertson
to-
especially is like that with Obsession. He's the best
Yeah.
example of a guy who thought he was doing one thing, and he's totally not doing the thing that he was asked to do or wanted to do.
Yeah, and whatever they did in the editing room, I guess it wasn't much different. So,
Yeah.
but to his credit, yeah, it is wild. It's like he's not getting as involved with them, but at the same time, he's I don't know if he was afraid. He's just overcautious about approaching them because he doesn't want to be in their face.
Yeah, well, and I think Robertson, him and Robertson clashed really hard on that film, and I think that was definitely a
That might
burned
have been
sort
it,
of a situation.
where he's like, I'm only going to work with people I like because
Yeah, because that's what I mean. He cast Travolta over and over again. They work really, really well together. Travolta is an actor who does take direction very well. He's a moldable actor who will, as egotistical as he may be, he does take direction very, very well, and he's not overly concerned about his own dignity or cool factor.
That's what's just so wild. Is like, and that's why he's been a pawn to Scientology for so long. He just
right
and done all these duds, and you're like, John, buddy, remember when you made great movies? Oh, I like everything I'm in. No, John, you need to look at this more objectively. This is not a good movie. Gotti is not a movie I would recommend to anybody. Yeah, it is wild though too. Like, I've never. De Palma just seems to also kind of dread just going in. Like, he has just that silent dread. You look at Casualties of War, I think it's a good movie. Other people don't like it, but he got blasted, nonstop when that came out. Then he does a similar, movie to capitalize on the found footage, with Redacted.
It's Escape. Yeah, Redacted, yeah.
It's literally a same thing. War criminals, except it's in Iraq. And that one, just everyone's like, hang it up, hang it up. And so I think he is definitely a mixture of, he's been told he sucks for so long, he doesn't know what's legit versus, what's people just being assholes about it. I
Well,
wouldn't know.
because he takes on subjects that a lot of other directors don't want, like Casualties of War. Whenever anyone may think of it, he took on a very challenging idea there. He used
It's his
Michael J.
platoon.
Fox, who's this
Yeah.
American, is this movie
Playing
star
against
idol and
type. Yeah.
innocence, and playing against type, and
Sean
the
Penn,
way
Mr. Bad Boy at the time, I'm gonna be the badass. I'm gonna be the bad apple, and starts casting Leguizamo again in Carlito's Way. So it is just so funny.
Yeah.
It's like, he
he
finds
makes these big choices and he follows through on them, like casting Michael J. Fox in a movie where one of the central themes is going to be a very graphic rape. That is not something that the Michael J. Fox audience is going to be prepared for when they go to see a Michael J. Fox movie, and that's why you get so much backlash against a movie like Casualties of War. And
Yeah.
I don't think, as a filmmaker or an artist, you can't really take the time to consider how people are going to react, and that's one of the best things that he does. Is I don't think he cares what people think after the movie is over. Is if he was relatively happy with what he did, he moves on to the next thing so he can get to the next vision.
It's a shame he didn't have more things going, because nowadays that's kind of how it was in the 2000s. People would be sneaking onto a project after and going on word of mouth. You did a good job on this. You're on budget. You're on time. Everyone liked you. Let's get you on this next one. And it is so wild, though, too, how so many people you kind of wish that had happened in the 80s or 90s, instead of I gotta see how the last one did before I blacklist you. It's like, my God. It's like, okay, I think we can do this way more simply. People got to eat.
It's weird. Like I think you've got De Palma in the '70s coming up with what's left of the studio system, of the big bosses who are who tell directors what to do. Then his group is the Mavericks, who are coming in, and they're kind of pushing the ownership around and getting them to let them make the movies they want to make. And
Yeah,
I think the '80s kind of overcorrects back the other way, where you're giving studios too much power, and when you do that, you end up with a Harvey Weinstein, and it's a whole other thing. But
that's true too. I'm glad he didn't go anywhere near that asshole. He would have probably whipped him a new one. I know Scorsese was listed as literally flipping a table over and protesting him over the making of Gangs of New York. You're like, my word. My word.
Emotionally, of the Vietnam films, my answer will shock you, and it shocks most people. The best Vietnam film emotionally ties with Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter and Casualties of War. Brian De Palma's unsung masterpiece. That movie gets me, and not just because it has an Ennio Morricone score and stars my favorite living actor, Sean Penn.
Yes.
It is just very few movies that I see more than once still gut punch me. And every time I can't take it. I'm like, that poor. I want to reach through the screen and help Michael J. Fox save that girl, what she goes through. And then the ending, you've seen it, yes?
Yeah, probably the most relatable of De Palma's work, probably.
Yeah. And then the ending when he wakes up and it's the same actress playing the girl on the train. And they get off and she's like, did you have a nightmare? And Morricone's music slowly, quietly chorusing up, and she says, "It's all over. It's your home. It's all over now." And she walks away, and he's watching her, and the music. I'm telling you, tears every time. I can't. It's so beautiful, striking, emotional movie. Yeah. It really is. Yeah, I love it. I put it right next to the Deer Hunter on emotion.
There you go. Yeah. And similar amount. I would tie Sean Penn with the Hartman and Barnes for best war criminal, where you're just like,
now there's the villain. You can
these guys are in the same
100% say the word villain. Yeah, he is a villain
inspired by an actual event. So there you go.
I was just about to say, and the sickening thing is, it's all true. Yeah.
Yep. One last thing. Whatever you do, never watch De Palma's final movie he has done, Domino.
Oh, I heard about that.
I was so let down. So to clarify, some people were complaining, oh, the color correcting isn't perfect, all that. It looked fine. It's just the plot was awful. Like, it was just so generic. Oh, I'm going to betray your best friends. You thought you were a spy doing God's work. We're going to betray you. And so, yeah, when I say this, everyone's like, oh, the Tony Scott movie? No, not the stupid Tony Scott movie. The 2019 movie with one of the Lannisters from Game of Thrones being a spy done dirty, trying to avenge his friend. The plot was just by the numbers cliche. And the thing is, just watching it, some shots are acceptable, but it just feels, it doesn't even feel like too many cooks are in the kitchen. It just feels very incomplete. Clarice
Feels like
Von,
somebody, it's like feels like somebody cooked it but didn't cook it all the way.
I'll tell you, the studio fucked it up. And basically, they were film students who grew up admiring De Palma, and then, like typical scandals in Hollywood, they were like, direct this movie for us as a favor, and then we have final cut. That never turns out good. So, and then their only marketing point is the director of Mission Impossible. I'm like, well, first off, that's a franchise. That I wouldn't call that a De Palma movie. I would call that a Gun for Hire movie he did. And second of all, yes, you got 2 Game of Thrones stars, but you've given them nothing to work with. It is cliche as all get out. And Guy Pearce is an excellent actor. They do him so dirty by giving him the most over the top, ham fisted villain role.
Well, I'm going to say this about anything like that. This first Mission Impossible movie is he fucked it up because of the fact that you don't make Jim Phelps the bad guy.
Fair enough. It was trying to do something different, but it wasn't the best idea. It was like, okay, why would you do that other than no one expected it? Just, it's also very confusing for the most part in between all the scenes that everyone remembers. And this movie, Domino, suffered because De Palma not only disowns it before it comes out, it just feels like he was doing his usual thing. He's just taking too long to do all the setups. He's still in 70s mode, working with a modern day, you know, you got to shoot everything really fast and hard.
Yeah, you got to get everything.
And,
you know,
yeah, so it was like produced by Dutch Filmworks, Blue Swan. There's 5 like different studios on the damn production.
Jesus Christ.
And so, yeah, that much like my sister and I look away from a movie if there's 6 writers credited, you know, story or not. It's the same deal here. It's like, and this many investors, it's probably funded by a Ponzi scheme and not a good movie. And sure enough, I'm like,
2 words, tax write-off.
It's a tax write-off. And it's just one of those, it's like, this isn't a De Palma movie, but he still deserves the blame. He accepted the gig. He shouldn't have done the gig because he didn't have final cut. And I don't know who this is for. The plot isn't interesting, so it's not going to appeal to any spy movie fan.
No.
The mystery, anyone could predict this mystery. Ho, I betrayed your friends. There's only one bad guy. And it's supposed to be the good guy. He's just a crooked asshole. But
yeah.
And I go to avenge my friend. It's like, what is this? Taken? No. This sucks. Like, there's just zero flair or style to it. You would never know it's a De Palma movie. But it's so funny. I see people say, I've never seen it. Is it any good? I'm like, no one should ever see this movie because it's not even a movie. It just it's not even complete.
Like a giant television episode.
Oh, well, see, that's saying it nicely, dude. Like you know,
I'm just saying, you know,
I wouldn't even call it a miniseries. It's just, it's not poorly shot, but it's also, there's just nothing to connect it. It feels like a music video guy took it over halfway through and had to get something done for the BBC in time. I guess it's that kind of production, but it's,
yeah.
I've seen great stuff on the BBC. MI5 is a good show, for instance, but that show had great characters. This has
Old Dogs was a great show too. If you ever seen that show,
yes,
Old Dogs is a great show. You know, but
good heist show. But yeah. So for De Palma, man, I think I'm glad we took this trip, but
yeah,
I don't feel like he's a danger to himself and others, but I also feel like he doesn't suffer fools. And I guess with too much compromising, he feels like it's not his movie. And it's like, well, maybe you can use that idea in another movie when you get a chance instead of just, it's not my movie anymore. And it is a shame that even in his worst movies, he still has an eye-catching visual, but he also has sometimes, again, if you strip away the script, stuff doesn't make sense. And
he's the odd man out a lot of times.
Yeah, he gets
certain things, you know.
It is kind of funny how he gave George Lucas shit for Star Wars, but he did him a favor and he gets residuals by giving the opening scrolling credits.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he and Lucas, I feel, have more in common than they let on. You know, Lucas, we often say friend of Coppola and Spielberg, but Lucas, you know, had all these, you know, accidental successes, and De Palma was pretty much ripping his hair out on every movie, good or bad, because he never understood. He never got a clear cut as to why people like or dislike my movie.
Here's what I got to say about it with De Palma is that he hits a zenith and then he goes down. He just goes down, right? He just goes like this.
Mission to Mars was the most frustrating movie as a teen. I'm like, who is this for? It's not using science. It's based on a theme park ride, but it's not really De Palma. I'm glad we did the De Palma thing, though, because he is another kind of underdog, but he's also just so hard to describe, which makes it a fun challenge for any kind of review.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's going to be the guy that, like, you know, he's the guy that brought the tribute back to, you know, the original directors that he liked. And then, you know, now he's kind of like lost in...
He could have started off as a tribute band, but he actually went platinum for a bit.
Yeah.
He actually got airplay on the radio.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it with him. So.
In all fairness, when you look at people who were doing indie mystery movies in the 2000s and embracing, hey, you know, I can't film on film, so I'll get a camcorder. I see a lot of them when they're filming their own indie movie. I definitely feel like they are just as in love with De Palma as they are Hitchcock. Because they'll do, like, the premise might be Hitchcockian, someone gets a mysterious phone call, someone knows too much, but the De Palma angles are pretty much a lot of the same, just actor talking mysteriously in another room, and then we realize, oh, he's talking to another guy, you know, just definitely when it's a techno thriller or much like Blowout or just kind of a filled with a bit of sleaze, I definitely, or some other Giallo type homages, I definitely feel like it is De Palma or early Verhoeven inspired. So,
yeah.
Well, no, thank you for joining us as always.
No problem. No problem at all.
And we're keeping the Film Junkyard alive. We're always posting a few things. Gil's posting some pictures from beloved comics. We're gonna keep sharing some fun deep cuts.
Yeah, I'm gonna be back on there. I gotta just figure out where and when, you know.
He's back.
I'm back from the dead.
We'll return after these messages.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up